In the heart of West Africa lies Burkina Faso, the land of honest people, a nation inspired by Thomas Sankara, a revolutionary icon whose vision gave hope to millions. But his dream was cut short by violence and betrayal. His closest friend, Blaise Compaoré, became the architect of his downfall. Sankara was assassinated in a coup, changing Burkina Faso forever. Today, the nation still grapples with the shadow of that betrayal. For decades, a cloud of silence hung over Sankara's death. Who really gave the order to kill him? Blaise Compaoré always denied involvement, calling the assassination a state secret. But the people demanded answers. Why was Sankara killed? Was it a power struggle? Or were more powerful forces at play? Many point to France, the former colonial power. In 2014, Compaoré was finally forced from power. The quest for answers continues. It is a story far from over. Blaise Compaoré was born in Zignare, Upper Volta, into a prominent Mossi family. His father, a decorated French army veteran, gave him opportunities few others had. After a strong education, Compaoré trained in Cameroon, France, and Morocco, like many promising officers from former French colonies. Abroad, he met Thomas Sankara. Both were ambitious, frustrated by their country's poverty and corruption. Compaoré rose quickly, commanding the elite unit in Po, building a loyal power base for the future. The friendship between Blaise Compaoré and Thomas Sankara deepened in the late 1970s and early 1980s. More than colleagues, they were brothers in arms, united by a revolutionary vision. With Zongo and Lingani, they formed the secret communist officers group, inspired by anti-imperialist movements. In 1983, Compaoré led a coup to free Sankara, risking everything for their cause. Sankara became president, Compaoré his loyal deputy. Together, they launched radical reforms and inspired a nation. They were the architects of a new dawn. As the revolution progressed, cracks appeared in the once unbreakable bond between Sankara and Compaoré. Sankara's radical policies made powerful enemies, while Compaoré, more pragmatic, grew uneasy with the revolution's direction. Compaoré's marriage to Chantal, tied to Côte d'Ivoire's elite, deepened their divide. Tensions rose, rumors of a plot swirled, but Sankara couldn't believe his brother would betray him. October 15, 1987, began as a normal day in Ouagadougou, but ended in tragedy. Gunfire erupted as Thomas Sankara led a cabinet meeting. Sankara, hands raised, walked out to face his assassins. The revolutionary leader was gunned down. His era ended in minutes. The revolution's promise was extinguished, leaving a nation in shock and fear. In the wake of Sankara's assassination, Blaise Compaoré addressed the nation, declaring himself leader and justifying the coup as a necessary correction. He accused Sankara of betraying the revolution, painting himself as a savior. Yet, the commando unit that killed Sankara was fiercely loyal to Compaoré, led by his own chief of security. International reaction was muted. France and neighboring Côte d'Ivoire quickly recognized the new regime. This tacit approval allowed Compaoré to consolidate power, purging Sankara loyalists and reversing revolutionary gains. For Burkina Faso, hope vanished overnight, replaced by fear and repression. Sankara's name and image were erased, his policies dismantled. The dream of a self-reliant nation was buried with its leader. Compaoré's coup was not just the removal of a president, it was the assassination of an idea. The land of honest people fell under the shadow of betrayal, a darkness that would last for decades. Once in power, Compaoré launched the so-called rectification, dismantling Sankara's revolutionary state. Popular committees and tribunals were abolished, grassroots power structures destroyed. Economic self-sufficiency gave way to foreign investment and IMF policy, reversing Sankara's vision. State enterprises were privatized, and austerity hit the poor hardest. National pride and African identity faded, replaced by Western consumerism. Opposition was crushed, loyalists arrested, exiled, or executed. Even Compaoré's former allies were eliminated, sending a chilling message. The land of honest people became a land of fear and lost ideals. Power was consolidated not through inspiration, but through systematic erasure of Sankara's legacy. The revolutionary spirit was replaced by cynicism and survival. The dream of transformation was over, replaced by business as usual. Compaoré's rule was secured by restoring close ties with France, which provided financial and diplomatic support. He became a regional mediator, hosting peace talks and presenting himself as a stabilizing force. Western powers overlooked his authoritarianism in exchange for cooperation on security. Yet, Compaoré was accused of supporting the very rebels he claimed to mediate, extending his influence across West Africa. His alliance with France, the heart of Françafrique, shielded him from scrutiny over Sankara's death and human rights abuses. French presidents saw him as a key ally, ensuring no serious international pressure. For nearly 3 decades, Compaoré transformed from coup plotter to respected, if feared, international operator. His diplomatic image masked a regime built on repression. As long as he served French interests, his power remained unchallenged. The world's silence was his greatest protection. Domestically, Compaoré built a system to keep himself in power indefinitely. Superficial democratic reforms masked a tightly controlled political landscape. Elections were held, but always favored his party. Opposition was harassed and fragmented. Patronage networks rewarded loyalty with jobs and contracts, creating a dependent elite. Corruption flourished and dissent was silenced, most infamously with the murder of journalist Norbert Zongo. The Zongo case became a symbol of impunity and fear. Compaoré amended the Constitution repeatedly, making himself president for life. International allies and domestic control made him seem untouchable. For ordinary people, hope was replaced by stagnation and repression. The revolutionary dream was long dead, but frustration simmered beneath the surface. The regime's stability was an illusion, masking growing unrest. After 27 years, Compaoré's attempt to extend his rule ignited mass protests. Civil society, students, and a new generation inspired by Sankara's legacy took to the streets. The movement grew rapidly, uniting the nation in opposition to a constitutional coup. On October 30th, 2014, protesters stormed Parliament, setting it ablaze, a symbol of the regime's collapse. The military refused to fire on the people. Compaoré's power crumbled. He declared a state of emergency, but it was too late. The streets belonged to the people. On October 31st, Compaoré resigned and fled the country, ending his long rule. The uprising was leaderless, a true people's revolution. The strong man was toppled not by a coup, but by collective will. Burkina Faso reclaimed its future through unity and courage. The era of fear ended in flames and hope. After Sankara's assassination, the world remained silent. No investigation, no sanctions. International bodies like the UN and African Union looked away, signaling indifference. Sankara's anti-imperialist stance had made him inconvenient for Western interests. Compaoré's pragmatism reassured foreign powers who preferred stability over justice. The Cold War context and non-interference doctrine provided excuses for inaction. This silence enabled Compaoré to suppress the truth and rewrite history. Sankara's widow and supporters campaigned for justice, but their efforts were ignored. Even favorable rulings from international bodies had no effect. The world's indifference allowed the culture of impunity to flourish in Burkina Faso. For decades, silence was complicity in the betrayal of a revolution. The fall of Blaise Compaoré in 2014 unlocked the door to justice for Burkina Faso. For 27 years, the truth about Thomas Sankara's assassination was suppressed. But now hope returned. In 2015, the case was reopened. Forensic tests confirmed Sankara's remains, and arrest warrants were issued for Compaoré and his chief of security. In 2021, a historic trial began. Compaoré was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Justice, long delayed, had finally been served, at least on paper. While Blaise Compaoré's rule was marked by betrayal and authoritarianism, Thomas Sankara's legacy has only grown stronger with time. He is a symbol of integrity, hope, and revolutionary change, kept alive by artists and a new generation of activists. The 2014 uprising that toppled Compaoré was fueled by Sankara's spirit. In the long arc of history, it is Sankara's vision that continues to inspire his people. After the 2014 uprising, Burkina Faso faced ongoing turmoil and a severe security crisis, battling jihadist insurgencies and repeated military coups. In 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, just 34, took power, immediately drawing comparisons to Thomas Sankara. Traoré's bold move to expel French troops tapped into deep anti-colonial sentiment and inspired national pride. He's called for popular mobilization, creating a volunteer force to support the army. But challenges remain, and Burkinabe now wait to see if this new Sankarist spirit will bring real change. Burkina Faso's future remains unwritten, shaped by the legacy of Sankara and Compaoré. Compaoré's conviction was a symbolic victory, but his freedom in Côte d'Ivoire is a bitter reminder that justice is not always served. Today, the nation rallies behind Ibrahim Traoré, seeking to break free from the past and reclaim its sovereignty. The story of Sankara and Compaoré is a lesson in power, betrayal, and the enduring strength of ideas. Burkina Faso carries the weight of its history, but also the hope of its revolutionary spirit.